Twin Cities mother has written a book. This is based on a devastating yet miraculous set of events.
Now, you may remember when a little boy named Landon was thrown from a third-floor balcony by a stranger at Mall of America back in April of 2019. Landon was just 5 years old at the time. The man who threw Landon is now serving 19 years in prison.
And this morning we have Kari Hoffmann. She's Landon's mom here. She's released a new book about what happened that day, the months and the years that followed, and how her faith has helped her through some really difficult times in life. So Kari, thanks so much for being here with us today and for sharing your story.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Yeah, why don't we start with, let's go back to that day, back to 2019. What happened?
It was Landon's last day of preschool.
Yeah.
We were just excited to celebrate and go do something fun, so we decided to go to the mall, to the Crayola factory. We had been there many times before, so we knew exactly where we were going when we got there. Ran up there to the third floor and ran up to this alligator that's right outside there in a moat, and we were standing on the rock waiting to go in there, just waiting for the alligator to be turned on as well. So they were kind of leaning over, you know, looking for it to move, and it wasn't moving. So this man had come up and he started whispering to the boys, leaning right over next to them, whispering in their ears, and they were giggling. So I didn't think anything of it. It was a little weird that he was talking to them, so I did say, do you not want us to stand on this rock? Because there's a big sign that says don't stand on this rock. And I thought he worked there. He looked like he worked there. It was winter and he had short sleeves on, a nice white shirt, and so I thought he must work here. And he said, no, you're totally fine. You can stay here. So I backed off a minute, but then he kept leaning over and whispering again. And I said, excuse me, do you not want us to stand here? And he goes, no, you are totally fine. And right in that second, he picked him up and ran.
How serious were Landon's injuries? And just thinking of the worst, but how serious were those injuries that he had?
They were very serious. He had a traumatic brain injury, of course, broke almost every bone in his body. Miraculously, the only thing that had to be emergency removed was his spleen. And he can live without a spleen, but that was the only thing that was bleeding out that needed to be removed immediately.
And he was in the hospital for how long?
For 4 months.
4 months there. How's he doing now?
He's doing so good. He now goes to a hockey school. I mean,
He
we learned
does?
from his he learned from his brain injury that he was going to be more impulsive, which he totally is. So he does need more activity.
Yeah,
But,
because he's 11 now.
He's 11. Yeah.
Wow. Does he remember any of that?
No.
Yeah.
Nothing that happened. He remembers the hospital.
The hospital,
He loves
right.
all the doctors
Yeah.
and the nurses and everything there. Of course, he doesn't remember the hard things.
Right.
Because he was so
That mom
medicated.
does,
Yeah.
yes.
You remember the hard things.
I remember the hard things.
You talked about how your faith got
Yes.
you through this. What role, can you talk about that and the role that your faith played in this?
Yeah, I grew up in a church, my Christian church, my whole life, so I've always had a personal relationship with Jesus Christ, and I just knew immediately when Landon was snatched out of my hand to pray. So I just yelled, pray, everybody around pray. Landon was just thrown, my baby was just thrown, everybody pray. And everybody started praying. I looked up and I saw 3 levels of people looking at me. And I just yelled, pray, please pray. And there was one man on the 2nd level who locked eyes with me and he said, I got you. And I don't know if he's a real person. I never did find him, but he might be an angel. I don't know, but that person made me think, okay, they're praying. And I heard prayers.
Kari, I can see tears there in your eyes. And you call it miracle at the mall because truly a miracle. Like, and truly you believe that. Your doctors believe that. You believe that.
Everybody believes it because he should not be alive. There's no evidence that.
There was 3 floors.
3
right?
floors.
Yeah.
Yes, and he was so broken and so many injuries, but he's alive.
What do you want people to take away from your book?
So the power of prayer works. I want everybody who around the world who prayed. I mean, we had people around the entire world praying for us and told us and sent us letters and packages. I want them to see what their prayers did. I want them to hear the story. And also, from the very beginning, there was God's fingerprints are all over the story that I have not shared all the stories, and I wish I had time to tell you, but back when I was a little girl, when I was 11 years old, my house was held at gunpoint and my family responded in faith. And so we prayed the whole time and confused the intruder and were able to overpower. He had 17 bullets in his gun. So I feel like since I was little, God was preparing me for this moment to be able to save Landon, for God to be able to share this miracle with the world.
Where can people get the book?
It's on Amazon.
It's on Amazon right now.
All right. Well, Kari, thank you.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for being here and sharing your story and sharing it in your book, too. We really appreciate it. And all our best to Landon.
Thank you so much.
Oh, my gosh, 11 years old.